I don't know about you, but it seems to me like 2025 is kicking off with quite a bang. Literally, I mean, we had two horrific terrorist attacks on January 1st. What else has happened this year? So far, half the country is frozen. The other half is on fire. The list goes on and on. It just seems like, my goodness, everywhere we turn, something's happening. Now, it would be a whole other video if we talked about, why some of these things are happening. And, personally, I see a lot of it right here in this book. But I think the truth still remains that at the end of the day, we live in a pretty out of control world. And I think we've become so numb and accustomed to the craziness of the world that it's just normal for us. Like 2025, yeah, we've had terrorist attacks and all kinds of crazy stuff happening. Well, it's just normal. It's just life. And in fact, I don't think that's the life that God kind of created for us. But I know for me personally, when it feels like even just not so much the big world, but my world is spiraling out of control, or a lot of uncontrolled circumstances are coming my way, there's a psalm that I love to turn to, and it's Psalm 91. It's actually a little mysterious. The writer is unknown. It could be David. Some actually believe it was Moses that wrote this psalm. And so I think it's important because it really reveals the character of God that sometimes we need to be anchored in, because we live in such an out of control, ever evolving, changing world, that this psalm is a strong anchor in the character of God. And it simply goes like this: He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Let me stop there. I love this little picture of I love when my 4-year-old holds onto my leg. Whether we're out somewhere, he might get scared or whatever that is, like he's in my shadow. And that's this picture for us with God, that we're just kind of holding on to God's leg, that we're right next to him in his shadow. And it says, for he will deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with pinions, and under his wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness is a shield and buckler. You will not fear the terror of the night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the destruction that wastes at noonday. Things are going to get crazy, and you're going to face some stuff. But his faithfulness is your shield, not our faithfulness. His faithfulness is our shield. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only look with your eyes and see the recompense of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord your dwelling place, the Most High, who is my refuge. No evil shall be allowed to befall you, no plague come near your tent. God's got your back. That no matter what you might face, he has got your back no matter what. Verse 11 says, For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all his ways. On their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. You will tread on the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent you will trample underfoot. Now, if that sounds familiar, that's exactly what Jesus quoted to Satan in Luke, and I believe it's Mark, when Satan tempted him. And Satan took him up to the roof and was like, hey, throw yourself off. I think it's important to realize, in these moments, man, Scripture is our sword. And the more that we bury it deep in our heart, the more power is there that the Spirit has to use. And this last section is probably my favorite. It says, because he holds fast to me in love, I will deliver him. I will protect him because he knows my name. When he calls to me, I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will rescue him and honor him. And with long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. That God is protector, right? Like God's got you under the shelter of his wings. That God will protect you. It doesn't mean you're not going to go through some stuff. It doesn't mean you're not going to face some stuff. It just means that in Jesus, we are going to stand victorious no matter what. That no matter what the devil does against you, you will stand victorious. But I think the other piece is something that we all need reminded of, and it's simply this, that God is a provider. You know, God knows exactly where you are. God knows exactly what you're facing. God knows exactly what's happening around you. And God will provide what you need. At the end of the day, our role in all of this, it's back to those first two verses. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High, I will say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Is God your shelter? Do you trust God? Do you trust God that no matter what you might be facing today, no matter what your family's facing or what's going on in your life, do you trust God? It is that simple. It is that simple. Psalm 91 is a reminder of God's faithfulness. He's got your back. Place your hope, place your faith, place your trust in Him. Anyway, y'all, hope you have a great week. We'll see you back next week.